My name is Adele Fontaine. I have run the front of house at Clement's restaurant for 14 years, which means I have watched people come and go, watched the kitchens evolve through 3 head chefs and 4 major renovations, and learned to read the small things that tell you what is actually happening in a room before anyone says it out loud. I want to tell you about Marcus Eller, who has been our sous chef for 9 years, and about the Thursday evening in November when I understood that something in his life had shifted in a way that does not happen by accident. Let me explain how I know that. Marcus runs a precise kitchen. He has a particular way of organizing the pass. Proteins left to right by table, number garnish tray anchored, sauce ladle always returned to the same position. He communicates with his team in short sentences and demonstrates rather than instructs. He does not perform warmth, but he has it. After 9 years, I know his rhythms. The first sign I noticed was in September, which I did not understand as a sign at the time. Marcus asked me, in passing, what I knew about a restaurant called Hazel on the east side. He asked it the way you ask when you are thinking of going somewhere and want an honest opinion rather than a review. I told him Hazel had good fish and a quieter room than most places in that neighborhood. He nodded and went back to his station. I thought nothing of it. In October, he came in on a Thursday with a different quality of composure than I was used to. Not distracted, the opposite. There is a version of composure that comes from being settled in your life, and a version that comes from something you are carrying carefully. For approximately 3 weeks in October, he had the second kind. I noticed because I have spent 14 years reading rooms, and people are rooms. Then it passed. By early November, it was the first kind again. I want to tell you what happened on the Thursday I am thinking of. It was the second week of November, which is our pre-holiday booking surge. The room was full from 6:15 onward. The kitchen was running at capacity, and Marcus had been on the line for 4 hours when the evening became what I can only describe as the kind of service that makes the whole team visible to each other in the best way. Everything moved. The timing was correct. There were no returns and 2 compliments to the kitchen from tables 9 and 14, which I relayed on my rotation through the pass. At approximately 9:20, during the brief deceleration between the last full turn and the dessert push, Marcus stepped to the pass and said, quietly, "Hey, can I ask you something?" I said he could. He said, "If you were trying to communicate to someone that you were serious, not in words, but through an action, what would you do?" I looked at him. He was not asking rhetorically. He was asking the way someone asks when they have already thought about it at length and want a second perspective from someone they trust to give them an honest answer. I said, "What is the context?" He said, "There's someone. I want her to know I'm not just going through the motions." 9 years. This was the first time Marcus had said anything to me that could be described as a personal disclosure about his life outside this kitchen beyond what I already knew about his daughter and his schedule. I adjusted accordingly. I said, "The action has to be specific to her, not a gesture anyone could make, something only you could do, something that requires you to have been paying attention." He looked at me for a moment. Then he said, yeah, that's right." He went back to his station. The following Saturday, I was not at the restaurant, but on Monday, he brought in a small jar of preserved lemon that he had made at home, a specific variety, the kind that takes 3 weeks and requires checking twice a day. He set it on the chef's shelf without comment. I knew from the label it was for a dish he had mentioned once, weeks ago, that she had said she liked. I did not say anything about it. I did not need to. I have worked in restaurants my entire adult life. I have watched people fall in and out of love across dining tables and kitchen counters and 14-hour service days. I know what it looks like when someone is going through the motions, and I know what it looks like when someone has decided they are not. Marcus Eller is not going through the motions. He made a 3-week preserved lemon in his own kitchen on a schedule that requires him to be home twice a day, which means he was thinking about it. The fact that he did not announce it, did not ask for recognition, and simply put it on the shelf and went back to work tells you everything you need to know about the kind of man he is. His daughter has been asking, apparently, whether Lena is coming to the restaurant holiday party in December. I know this because Marcus mentioned it on Friday in a tone of voice that suggested he had already confirmed she was. She said yes, he said, as he was tasting the broth for the pasta special. I said, "Good," he nodded. "Good," he said. He put the tasting spoon down and returned to the broth. That is the whole conversation. I have been in this industry long enough to know that those are the conversations that matter.